Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about medium format film photography in this video, and in particular a camera that I purchased online on eBay a couple of weeks ago for 50 quid. I did showcase this actually in my last video at the end. I said I'd be making a video about it, and there it is. It's the Franka Solida III, and you know, like normal, myself and most other people looking for cameras like this know nothing about them. You have to go online, do a little bit of research, and you know, see if they're right for you or not. So when I did the research on this camera, it's medium format. It's my favourite format, which is 6x6, and it all seemed to be working and tickety-boo. So I thought for 50 quid I'll buy it, and hopefully the guy has given me the right information and it will work. And it has. As you know, the last couple of years I've been shooting my Zeiss Icon Netal, which I got for about 30 quid on eBay a couple of years ago, and I absolutely love this camera. I've featured it quite a lot, and I've made some fantastic photographs along the way, and I've learned a lot as well about my own photography using this camera. There's no light meters or nothing. It's just you know, a lot of it's measurements and guesstimates, and once you start getting your pictures looking nice, using these sort of cameras, it's quite satisfying. You know, we can all go out and shoot the Olympus 35mm that I've got, and other cameras that have got aperture priority mode and light meters inside, but there's something satisfying about shooting these sort of cameras that I enjoy. So I'll just show you some of the features that this camera's got. Got to put my bins on because I can't see otherwise. Let's look at the shutter speeds. The shutter speeds are from 1 second to 250th of a second, and it's also got a bulb mode as well. So the shutter speeds are 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, 50, 100 and 250. Unfortunately, the 1 second and the 2 seconds, the 1 second and the 2 seconds yet aren't working properly, but 5 onwards are working fine, so that's really good. The aperture is unusual. It goes from 2.9 to f22. Normally that would be a 2.8, but they've got on this one a 2.9. I don't know why. Probably something technical behind it. But I did notice that the aperture selector is a slider, and it's pretty fiddly to do. So I can imagine only when I'm shooting this in cold weather and my hands are cold, that might be a bit tricky. But other than that, that's the aperture selector. You've got your focusing ring on the outside of the lens, like so, and it goes from infinity all the way to, what, 3.5 feet it says on there. And the lens itself is a Pronto S shutter lens, and it's from Schneider, the Glossy Schneider Kruznak Radian. I can't even say it properly, but you'll see it on the screen. That's what the lens is. And when I look at my Zeiss Icon, this is an 80mm lens, the Zeiss Icon is 75. There's a big difference between the sizes. This one's a lot bigger glass than the Zeiss Icon, so I was really interested to see how that would perform being bigger glass. What else on the camera? You've also got a timer as well. It's given me a timer, which I've already checked, and that works. And that's about it really. And you've got your sync port down here. And what else is there? And that's there is for your cable release as well. That all works. And once you fold the camera, nice and compact, you press the button at the bottom to open it, like so. Whoop. And then when you cock the shutter, you cock it there, pull that across, press the button. It's also got a fail safe as well, so if I do that again it won't cock. I need to advance the frame to the next frame, and then it will allow me to cock, which is good because I'm not going to double expose my images. So so that doesn't do anything. It just gives you a rough view of what you're looking. It's not got a rangefinder inside, and it certainly hasn't got a light meter inside either. And inside the camera, got these funky little compartments. So your film, you have to pull that one out, pull it across, there you go. So you put your take up spool in there, I can do it, and then just close like so, and then you put your film inside there, and it closes, so it kind of keeps it all together inside there, which I thought was pretty neat. The Zeiss Icon doesn't do that. So to try this camera out, I'm up on the Downs and I'm armed with the camera itself, a small light tripod, a GoPro on a monopod that I'm talking to you now, a light meter and a little yellow filter, and a set of car keys and some bubble gum. When I put the tripod plate on this camera, that's moving around, it's a bit windy up here actually. When I put the tripod plate on this camera, for some reason I tried a few tripod plates and none of them actually, the threads were too long on the tripod plates to fit this camera, so I had to put a rubber washer on there to try and secure it a little bit. But anyway, I'm up on the Downs, and it's nice and cloudy. Just going to mill around, nothing special, nothing spectacular. I just want to try this camera out and see how I get on with it and what images or results I get at the end. Also interested to see how that film works as well. So let's have a little mooch around the Downs and see what we can take photographs of. Medium format 6x6 Franka Solida III. So just set up on my first scene, and it's this road here. And well, you can see a long road, either side is green stuff, and then I've got blue skies, a bit of cloud going on. So I'm going to shoot that with the Franka camera. I've got it set to infinity, and I've also put a small green filter on the front of it. And the green filter is probably about as old as this camera that I've got. I've got the rangefinder, but I don't need that because I'm on infinite at the moment. And like I said, loaded inside is at 400 speed film, but I'm actually going to pull that film to 200. And the reason I'm pulling the film is I just want a bit more to play with in the darkroom, so lower contrast, the shadows in that, if the sky and whatever is not going to be as harsh or as dense, I should say, on the negative. So I should come back with a slightly flatter negative that I can boost the contrast up in the darkroom if I need to. So anyway, I've set it all up, I've done some metering, and I've got 200th of a second f11. So I'm going to shoot that with the green filter on and then do another one without the green filter and see what the difference is. 200th of a second. Oh, the sun's just come out. What an arse. Wait for that sun to go back in. Actually, the sun's quite nice. It's causing some really nice contrast across the road. And it's giving me F16 this time, so okay, green filter on. Shot done. Not overconfident about this tripod wobbling. Advance the camera to the next frame. Can hardly bloody see the numbers. That says 2. I'll take the green filter off. I'm not going to change the aperture. I'm just going to shoot. See what happens. If I'm a stop out, then I'm a stop out. Shot number 2. Done. Let's move on. Hello, dog. I'm not that creative with landscapes, to be honest with you. Seascapes, yeah, but landscapes, all I can just see is just land everywhere. You know, I like something in the subject, but it's pretty barren where I am. You know, maybe that would make a nice photograph there, just the grass and the blue clouds. You've got some sort of parallel going on. Maybe if I'd shot it about there. Oh man, I don't fancy going down there. Oh, you know, werewolf's back again. Oh, we've got greyhounds now. Oh, where's he going? Hello mate, go on trap 6. Hello. All right. You're picking on me. Yeah. So in case you guys are wondering, this little thing on top here is a ROWI rangefinder, and I've just used it to find the distance between the camera and the bench, and just by rotating this I can bring 2 parallels together. It gives me 2 images, and once the 2 images are in line, I just read off here how many meters away the subject is, and I dial that into the lens on the camera. But unfortunately the lens on the camera is in feet and this is in meters, so I actually done away with this and guesstimated 10 feet because this says 4 meters. I can't see that bench being 4 meters away, so something I'll have to look into. But this is a rangefinder, usually works. I'll have to do some tests with it. Yeah, I'm looking at this landscape over the back. I can see Portsmouth from where I am, the Solent, which is the sea. It just looks so boring, not enough for me to take a photograph. I'll show you. Everything's going to be so minuscule in the picture. Royal Enfield. I should have stopped him and said, "Here mate, can I take a picture of your motorbike?" Trying to shoot some landscapes and there's I've got a few shots left out of 12. So that was me up on the downs trying to get some photographs, and like I said in the video, I'm not used to shooting landscapes. Some people call seascapes landscapes. I separate the two. There's seascapes and there's landscapes. And I'm not really one for going out and shooting landscapes, so for some reason my creative juices just can't flow when I'm out looking at land, you know, but with seascapes they can. But however, anyway, I went up on the downs and see what I could get on a nice cloudy day, and I came back with some nice photographs, and I've already been in the darkroom and made a few prints, and I'll show you guys some of the prints that I've made. This is a contact sheet that I've made. I don't know if you can see because of that light. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's fine. So these are the first ones that I shot on the road. That was with the little yellow filter, a little green filter I should say. I say yellow because it's very, very light green. It came with a Braun pack set, that filter, which is again another 1950s camera. But anyway, that's what I shot with the filter on the road, and that's without the filter. And then I went off and did some more photographs. You can see here from the contact print. That was the one of the sea that was quite bright, the one of the bench. And then as I was, I actually packed away the cameras and I thought I'll shoot the rest of the frames and get back. This Land Rover pulls up as I was looking at something to shoot. This Land Rover pulled up and the guy parked it up. He's got out with his dog and he walked off for a walk with his dog and he left his Land Rover there. So I took a couple of photographs of the Land Rover and you can see the Land Rover there. And then I got a closer one. Then I had a blank frame. Just advanced it. I'll tell you what happened there with that blank frame. I was looking through the little red window and I couldn't see, as I could see the little flowers coming along, but then I couldn't see the next frame number, and I thought that's really strange, and I carried on, but I missed frame number 10, so I went to number 11 and then number 12. But the negatives came out nice contact print. I'll just show you some of the images that I've come back with. This is the glossy paper from Ilford, the new Ilford Multigrade papers. This is resin glossy paper, if you can see that there. So that's one of the prints that I did. That's what I was telling you about, just trying to get the ground in the lower third and getting more sky in the frame. And I was quite happy with that, and it's very sharp as well. The lens appears to be quite sharp, which has pleased me. This is a bench. You can see I was guesstimating there the distance from the camera to the bench, and I kind of got it right. I mean, I'll say kind of, I've got it right because the bench is very sharp indeed. And again, another nice photograph there. And none of these were any sort of real trickery in the darkroom. They was just grade 2.5 filter. And then that's the Range Rover there. And on this particular one, I just used my dodge tool just to dodge this area and just put a little tiny, very slight vignette around the edges, which makes it pop a little bit. You can see that. If you see me looking down, I'm looking down at the screen, which is connected to that GoPro there. So yeah, that's the Land Rover, I should say. Not Range Rover, Land Rover. And then I took another shot of the Land Rover as well, up closer. And again, I had to do a bit of range finding to get my focusing in. On this particular one, I had to do some dodging on this side because this was quite dark. So I just did a little tiny bit of dodging just to the wheel arch and get some detail around the wheel and the wheel arch and just on this wing area here. And then I just did a little tiny bit of burning at the top just to pull the sky and the top of the Land Rover, the glass and the interior inside. So I was quite happy with the way that came out. Brings me back to the first one I did where I was metering up and the sun came out. I decided to shoot with the sun as it was coming out, because I could suddenly see all the shadows on the ground, and I just thought it looked more appealing than it did as it was before, which was overcast. So again, no trickery, just 2.5 grade filter. In fact, I did burn slightly over this side, you can see it. I just did a little tiny bit of burning just to make the sky pop a bit more over in that corner area. And then that was the one that I wasn't going to take, but I decided to. That was the sea. And although this area here is pretty dark, I thought I'd leave it as is. You know, I'm not going to muck about with these prints at all. It's just to see if this camera is working okay. Well, let's talk about the film I was using, this Ultrafine 400. First of all, I've never heard of this film before, and I've never seen it on any of the stores where I buy my films and chemicals and stuff. And straight away I looked at the box and I noticed the fonts on the side, and I thought to myself, that looks very similar to Ilford. It looked very similar to the font that you get on the Ilford boxes. I.e. there, this is Ilford Delta 100, so you can see that. This is Ilford's Pan F50, the bold font. And I put the two and two together, I thought it looks very similar. But just carried on shooting, and then when I took the roll of film out the camera, I don't know if you can see that, but I put it next to the Ilford Delta. One on the right hand side is the Ultrafine Extreme, and the one on the left is the Ilford Delta. And the backing paper is exactly the same, so it got me thinking, as this Ultrafine, throw that down now, as this Ultrafine 400 or the Ultrafine brand being made by Ilford? I don't know. Doesn't matter, neither here nor there really. It's a roll of film, just go out and shoot it. But it did make me think, because I've never seen any other sort of branded film looking like Ilford brands before. But yeah, that was interesting. So medium format film I absolutely love. I started shooting off at 35mm like most of us, and then within a very short space of time a friend of mine let me borrow his Mamiya 645, which I gave back after about a year. I remember buying my first roll of 120 film. You know, and first of all it looked quite daunting. I was like, oh Christ, am I going to load this? Am I going to do it right? It looks a bit too professional from what I've been shooting at 35mm. But I soon got used to it and started shooting a lot of medium format photography in my own portfolio, and I really enjoyed it. But then I had to give the Mamiya 645 back, and I started looking online for other cameras, medium format cameras, and they were all getting so expensive, like your Hasselblads and your Bronicas. They've got a quite hefty price for second-hand cameras out there. So I started looking at these folding cameras, which are a lot cheaper, and like I said, I showcased before, the Zeiss Icon Netta cost me about 30 quid, and that was the first one that I actually bought and purchased myself. It's a 6x6 format that I like, and I've had no problems with this camera whatsoever. The images have been absolutely fantastic. The lens is pretty sharp, and the whole camera is quite accurate. So that's what then brought me on to the my next medium format camera, which is the Solida, Franka Solida III that I've recently purchased. And so although this is my first try with it, I'm looking forward to shooting a lot more stuff with this camera in the future. The other medium format camera I've got, as you've seen a lot, is the pinhole camera. Again, this is 6x6. And it gets me out shooting medium format, you know. So I haven't spent fortunes on cameras just so I can go out and shoot medium format. I've gone for these folding cameras, the pinhole camera, and they're fantastic. I get some great images from them, and I enjoy shooting them. And you know, for me to go looking at Hasselblads and Bronicas, they're quite expensive. I can't quite afford those sort of cameras. So you know, if circumstances change at some time in the future, maybe I might go out and buy a nice Hasselblad. But for now, I'm happy with these medium format cameras, and they work a treat for me. So if you're looking to getting into medium format away from 35mm, have a look at these folding cameras online. Just make sure that they've got good reviews, good write-ups, and also the person selling it is going to give you the correct information that it's all working fine and you're not going to have any problems when you buy it. And a lot of people ask me about the rangefinder that I use. It's a ROWI range a ROWI rangefinder, sounding like Jonathan Ross there. A ROWI range. It's a ROWI rangefinder, and so this is the one that I use all the time. It's a ROWI rangefinder, and I put it on top of my camera, and I look through the little tiny hole there at my subject, and I'll see two images of my subject. And when I'm turning this they'll start coming in line together. And as soon as they're in line together, so that it's one image, I read the number on there and dial that in to my camera lens here. It's an uncoupled rangefinder, so I have to dial it in myself. And then I've got my distance, or should have my distance. I did say in the video that I wasn't sure if this was working properly, but it is. I've already tested it, so I'm back on board with that. The only difference is this is meters and that's feet. So what I did, I went out and downloaded well, I didn't go out actually and do it. I did it from home. I downloaded an app on my phone, and it's just a conversion from meters to feet. So I'll keep that on my phone. So when I'm shooting this camera, whatever that gives me in meters, I can just convert quickly to feet, because my maths ain't going to be that great when I'm shooting. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so anyway guys, hope you liked the video. That's just featuring my new medium format camera. And if any of you guys are shooting 35mm and you're wondering about getting into medium format photography, it's real easy to do. If you've got the money, and money's no object, there's a bundle of decent Hasselblads and Broncas and Mamias out there to fill your heart's content. If you haven't and you're on a budget, have a look at some of these folding cameras, because they are brilliant. I definitely recommend them. And like I say, I've been shooting this one, the Zeiss Icon, for a couple of years now, and I'm really pleased with the results that I've got, and obviously the Pinhole camera as well. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll get notifications next time I make a video. And thanks to the subscribers, the people that comment and take interest in my videos, and also special thanks to the people that support me on Patreon. I really do appreciate your help. Cheers guys, I'll catch you next time. Just walking back to the car, I didn't realise how far I'd walked. I actually walked quite a way there. Nothing about photography, can you?